welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jake T. Picker. Today we will be comparing the round and oval brush attachments of the Dyson versus the Shark, and I'm here to help you decide how to best blow your next paycheck on a hot tool. But before we get into the tutorial, I'm going to tell you, politely ask you to subscribe. Let's do it! First, we're going to apply a healthy dose of mousse. This is gonna be real fun. I like to pretend I'm a pie. Yum! I'm going to use a little bit of Bumble and Bumble thickening spray. I don't really know if I like this, to be honest. And then I'm going to use a little bit of sea salt and water for some grit and hold. And I like to get a little bit in my scalp, but just like right off of my part. I really got my backdrop now. Testing the resilience of my paper backdrop. So most people do a mohawk section when they're using a round brush and rollers. I don't like to do that because I find that a mohawk section really flattens down certain parts of my roots, and then it's very visible in my part. And my hair looks even thinner than it already is. And I'm gonna start with the pieces by my face because these pieces dry the quickest because they're the thinnest. Don't forget the ear protection. So if your hair is any thicker than mine, and if you're not making a video and talking and therefore taking longer, I would suggest that you first start with drying your roots. I don't want a lot of volume on the sides of my face, just some bend and movement, and that is why I am placing them in this position rather than higher up on my head like this. So for the two pieces behind the front pieces at my part, I am lifting them as straight up as possible, just like I like my martinis. Just kidding. I don't even know what straight up means with regard to martinis. Anyway, with both the brush and the rollers, to give myself as much volume as possible at my part. I'm gonna just talk to you like this. The Dyson has a cool shot, but it also has a cool heat setting, warm, and a hot. I feel like the warm isn't warm enough and the hot is too hot, which is kind of a bummer, to be honest. But it's definitely still a first world problem. For this next set of rollers, I am rolling them in the opposite direction than the previous set. The previous set I rolled under, and for this I'm rolling up and over. I don't need a lot of volume here, and I would like all the flippy layers to flip in different directions. In my last Dyson versus Shark video, I mentioned global warming, and this person commented, "Global warming isn't real." Is anyone gonna tell her? Like, someone should tell her. Literally 100% of climate scientists disagree with her. Literally 100. Someone's gotta tell her, because I'm not gonna tell her, because I'm not gonna engage with her, because I'm not a masochist. For the back roller, I just used a Shark because I didn't want to split the back into two halves because I wouldn't do that ever. And I just used a big roller to give me some lift at the crown, and that's rolled under. So now that I've done the top of my head, I'm going to section what's left into two layers and start with the bottom layer because the bottom layer starts to dry more than this layer starts to dry. And I'm not going to use rollers because rollers will not give me volume at these layers with how long my hair is and how straight my hair is. Basically, it's not worth the trouble. And instead I'm going to use the round brush method with some twisting. And I'm going to start with the back. I feel like I'm never going to be a hair YouTuber because I don't have enough hair to really make it in the biz. And for this bottom layer, you want to apply tension, roll it onto the brush, and then you want to duck. And then you want to roll, and then you want to duck. So you roll and duck. You don't duck and roll because this isn't a fire. This is probably just a me problem. But when I was a kid and I was in elementary school, they would tell you to duck and roll. But I took a lot of gymnastics class, so I thought they meant to do like a forward somersault, not roll back and forth like, I don't know, what rolls back and forth like this? One of those hot dogs at like those Wetzel pretzel stands? Because I didn't understand that rolling back and forth like this would snuff out any fire that you might have on you, and they didn't explain that. So I've literally thought that I was supposed to do a somersault if I was on fire. Like it's fucking Cirque du Soleil, okay? For this technique, you can make the twists go towards or away from your face, and you can alternate each strand. Yeah. Put it behind you and you forget about it, like an old fling. On this side, I'm taking bigger sections because it's bigger. My goal one day is to become ambidextrous at this so I can develop carpal tunnel in both hands. And one way that I know that each little chunk is getting dry is I go through it usually twice, and by that time it starts to get very slippery. It can almost slip off the brush, and that's how I know that that's the final time that I should go through that section. I decided to do all of them towards my face because I said so. If we're prejudging, you can see that this side has a lot less body than this side, which is the Dyson side. That's probably due to a few factors. One is the shape. You've got a circle, and then this has a surface that's much more flat. And what I think is maybe just as important, if not more important, is that this has a lot of airflow. You can see through it. This is a lot more opaque. So you're gonna get an airier type of look with this. And then finally, the bristles, this has more tension. You might get more frizz with this side, but you also might get more body, and you might get less frizz with this side, but you also might get less body. So I think the two brushes really depend on the hair type and the look that you're going for. So I think we're gonna take these suckers out, and I'm not gonna say bad boys because I try to use non-gendered language as much as possible. Ooh. And if you have fine, thin hair like me, and if you just have hair, it's a good practice to sort of take any Klingons off as you go down. Is a Klingon from Star Trek? Any Trekkies out there? 'Cause there aren't any right here. And then when you're rolling these out, you can just kind of tell those to fuck off. Oh, look at that flippy flip! This is what dreams are made of. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Imagine how great this would look if I had more hair. So what can happen with thin, fine hair, you can start to get some weird separation here, and you can kind of see where one roller ended and the other one began. I call this separation anxiety. This definitely starts to normalize. As far as the difference between each side goes, it's almost nearly identical. The ease of use, this is really heavy. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it's harder to get in closer to the scalp because it's so large. I'm gonna actually stop holding this in my hand, my right arm, because it's killing me. So my thesis statement is basically you should watch my Dyson versus Shark review and decide which tool is right for you based on that full review. Based on this particular brush set, the results are practically identical. If you end up getting the Dyson, but you want something, now I have to hold it. I'm gonna hold it with my left hand. But you want something more like this, which is gonna give you a lot of tension. You can get straighter much easier than with the Dyson. Then you could get the Dyson plus the Revlon One Step. Alternatively, if you decide that the Shark is the right hair tool for you, based on some of those parameters that I went over in my previous video, but you wanted something a little less heavy and something more circular, then you could get something like this. I don't know if this particular thing is good. My mom likes it. She and I have very different hair types. Just search on YouTube for best round brush that blows hot air out of it.
I think it's called an airbrush.
Maybe. This is the Conair Infinity Pro. It's pretty low power. I said in my previous Dyson versus Shark video that I wish the Dyson came with this, and then the Shark came with this and this. I don't know why neither company could make the perfect set of attachments. It's not that hard. Wow, my hair looks so good and sexy. You know, it's times like these I wish I had a man to go down on me. But you know, then there's other times where I wish that I had a man to go down on me.
Shameless.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I have a playlist right here of all my best videos about Dyson versus the Shark, etc. Alternatively, you could watch some of my best celebrity creations. And you know, Piper and I really encourage you to watch that because some of my best friends and my mom say they're really good. Bye, fellow sick bitches, and stay sassy.